of N-bomb. It's a new synthetic drug being blamed on the deaths of 2 Scottsdale teens.
And the man who allegedly gave it to them will probably serve less than 2 years behind bars. ABC 15's Elizabeth Irwin joins us now to explain how something like this happens.
Well, Steve, Katie, it all comes down to the evidence. Bottom line here is the suspect in this case isn't even being charged with killing the teens or selling the synthetic drugs. He's going to be sentenced for selling pot. As you can imagine, the families of those 2 boys are devastated.
They both laid there and died.
Anthony Carlson was just 18 years old, a freshman at ASU on an academic scholarship when he died last May. Some witnesses say he took a vial of a synthetic drug out of his pocket and put a few drops up his nose. He died the next day. His parents are heartbroken and say they can't believe the man they say gave their son the drugs won't be punished for it.
We understand that they don't have enough evidence now to charge Eden with responsibility for these deaths. But just because they don't have the evidence now shouldn't allow them to dismiss his responsibility.
The other teen died nearly a year ago, last January, when police say he was given the same synthetic drug, that N-bomb that you were talking about.
And Elizabeth, you mentioned that the suspect was being charged with selling pot. What does that even have to do with the case?
Yeah, why doesn't he get charged with these deaths?
Really good questions. In fact, that pot charge is totally separate from this case, and you're right, it has nothing to do with it. We asked the Maricopa County attorney about this today. He tells us when 20-year-old Eden Bell supposedly gave these teens N-bomb, it wasn't illegal. It is now, but unfortunately, Bill Montgomery says his office just doesn't have enough evidence. Attorneys asked police to take another look. They even tried to get the feds involved.
We're never going to see a homicide case against him for those 2 deaths. It's just never going to happen. We're never going to be able to get the necessary information to bring a successful prosecution.
And if it's accepted as part of Bell's plea deal, he won't ever be charged in the deaths. Anthony's parents will be at Friday's sentencing. They're going to try to convince the judge to reconsider. And if you're curious, what is this N-bomb? It's essentially like a synthetic hallucinogen, kind of like LSD.
Yeah, and we're seeing more and more of these types of drugs, just incredibly dangerous.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Elizabeth.